Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cinnamon Stitches. I am your thrifty yarn host, Jennifer. And today, I got a whole chair full of thrift haul. I got a whole chair full of thrift haul. There's like a lot going on here. And actually, trying to move some of this because this is from different stores. Now, what I want to do is talk to you about thrift haul, thrifting yarn. Okay, I'm gonna give you some thrifting tips while I talk about what to look for, what to keep your eye out for, where to look for yarn. I'm gonna tell you straight off the bat, because the number one thing people are worried about with thrifting yarn is either bugs, which is a possibility. I have actually been gifted yarn in Happy Meal a couple years ago that had bugs in it. So we always look as best we can to make sure the yarn is clean and free of anything that is moving, or look for little specks of things that could be bugs. A lot of times if the yarn is bagged up, look along the bottom seam, because the bugs will die and fall out into the bottom. Is a real thing that you need to worry about, okay? Because if you get bugs in your yarn, it can infest all of your yarn. We don't want that. That's disgusting. But it's not anybody's fault that that happens, because bugs happen. Bugs are a realistic thing, right? But you always want to be out on the lookout for bugs. If you are buying, let's see if I have any. If you're buying an individual skein of yarn, because sometimes the thrift stores will have them in bags for one price, or they'll sell them by the skein. One thing to look for is you peel and you open and you investigate. And if you see anything in there that looks like it even could be a bug, don't buy yarn from that store, because chances are it has infested some of the other stuff in that store. What kind of bugs are you looking for? There's all kinds of creepy critters that can live inside of there, but you really don't want anything that might have a bug in there that would eat your yarn. Let's say moth larva, okay? So, the number one thing is look for the creepy crawlies. And I know some of you are so disgusted that I have thrift yarn, okay? And it is okay. You don't have to watch this video. Don't leave comments below, because there are a lot of people in this world that cannot afford higher end yarn. They can't afford to go to Walmart even and get a $5 skein. So buying one ball at a time for 50 cents at the thrift store, or buying a whole bag for $6.99 makes more sense to them economically than going to the store and buying one ball for $6.99. So just keep those things in mind before you comment this. Some people have no choice. And then there's people like me who look at this as like, this is somebody's leftover yarn from probably an amazing project. Or maybe they're like me and they overbuy. Or yarn companies send them yarn. You know, it could very well be, especially in my area, you might be finding Cinnamon Stitches yarn at the thrift store. And my yarn is free of bugs and it smells good, because there's always wax melts and stuff in my room. So it always smells good. Which is what you see right here, this little light. It's a skeleton with wax melts in it that smells like Halloween. Speaking of smells, there's another thing you want to do. If it's in a bag, poke a hole with your finger. Give it a smell. Just, does it smell like cat pee? Because if it smells like cat pee, leave it. Don't. I've made that mistake before. I didn't smell it in Michigan. I bought a big garbage bag full of yarn and it smelled like cat pee and I had to wash it. Because back then, I didn't have a choice. That's the only yarn I could afford, and it was an amazing deal. It was like $10 for a garbage bag filled with cat pee yarn. Some of it I had to throw away because it was crystallized cat pee. Disgusting. Disgusting. Some of it I washed because it was worth it. These are things to look for. Alright, now, this one is a dirty skein, but I dropped it on the floor in the store. So this is not bugs on here. It's like debris from the floor. I got this bag. Now, I got these at different thrift stores, okay? Some of them are at the Goodwill, and I'm gonna tell you right now, Goodwill has no idea what they're doing in regards to pricing. because their prices are so all over the place with yarn. I have found Dollar Tree yarn marked for $3 at the thrift store, at Goodwill specifically. They have no idea what they're doing. They don't even research it. They're just like, they slap price tags on it, which is ridiculous. There's a leaf in there. I was making sure it wasn't a bug because now I got myself freaked out talking about bugs and now I'm all creepy crawly. So the places I have found the best selection of yarns, and this varies, is small independent thrift stores. Goodwill will have them occasionally, and it's usually in like big bags or big boxes where they mark it all like one price. There is a store called Savers slightly north of me. They are part of the Value Village chain of stores. So there's Savers, Value Village, and I think Value World might be part of it. Those stores always have yarn. Always have yarn. And a lot of times it's like Bernat blanket yarn. Always have yarn. I haven't been to Savers in like a hot minute, so I couldn't tell you if they have anything currently, but I have visited Savers in several different states and or Thrift World. Not Thrift World. What did I just say it was called? Whatever I just said it was. Whatever world. I can't, my brain just turned right off. Anyway, that store always has them too. Or like I said, like St. Vincent de Paul, where you see a lot of older people going to those thrift stores. Not so much Goodwill. So like St. Vincent de Paul, Salvation Army, church, independent church thrift stores. That's where I usually find the craft supplies at. So where the old people shop. Or the older people shop, you know. Also, we have a bag here from a creative reuse store. There are a lot of creative reuse stores in my general driving area, which means within 2 hours of my house. This one was purchased at a place called Scrappy Elephant, which is in Charlottesville. We went there, I think 2 weeks ago now, because this was supposed to be a last week video. And we went, and I have several videos on craft reuse stores. Scrap RVA is in Richmond. There is the Scrappy Elephant is in Charlottesville. There is there's one in Harrisonburg, Virginia, which is, I can't think of the name of it. And the way to find these stores is you go to Google and you search out craft reuse store near me. And so there's Dabble. I've never been to Dabble. Dabble is up north in Manassas. Valley Creative Reuse is the one in Harrisonburg. There's one called Nova Creative Reuse, which is in Leesburg. 757 Creative Reuse is in Norfolk. And then I said the Scrappy Elephant and Scrap RVA is in Richmond. What is this? Austin Creative Reuse? That's in Austin, Texas. Scrap Be More is in Baltimore. I've been to Scrap Be More in Baltimore. It's a nice store. They have good yarn. The clientele are jerks. And I made a video on Scrap Be More. And I said I would never go back to that store again because I was treated so badly by the clientele. Not the people that worked there, but the people that worked there were just like completely nonchalant. That like the people in the stores that were shopping were jerks. And I have no intention of ever going back to the store because of the way I felt in the store, the way I was treated in the store by the clientele. But furthermore from that, the lady that runs the store was so mad that I made a video that wasn't like shining about her store. She harassed me for a couple of months and I ended up having to block her. Like, she was really upset. So she didn't like that I had less than positive things to say about her store. And it wasn't the store. And I repetitively said that in the Scrap Be More video. I was like, it's not, the store was cool. It was the people. And I won't go back because of the people that were there. And she just was digging down like, I need to delete this video. And she was doing everything she could to get me to take a video down. And I only know that because she kept setting up new accounts. And I was able to link back the accounts to her actual personal Instagram, which is how I knew it was her. It was really stupid. But there, like I said, there's lots of scrap reuse stores, thrift reuse stores, craft reuse stores in my area that are all in driving distance. And this haul right here is from Scrappy Elephant in Charlottesville. Now, I'm going to show you, I've given you some kind of tips of what to look for. Smell, look for bugs. Those are the two most vital things. And also, if you have the yarn, if you can touch the yarn, if it's not in a bag, do the strength test. If it breaks really easily, it has dry rot and it's not going to work up any, you can't work with it. Dry rot happens more frequently with wool or cotton than it does with acrylic. So with the acrylic blends, you're kind of safe. This is like a brushed acrylic, but it's vintage, I think, because I've never seen yarn that looked like this. And like I said, this is the one I dropped on the floor. So there's schmutz all over it. This whole, I believe, was from a craft store or a thrift store. It's a regular old thrift store called Retail, R-E-T-A-I-L. Because they started off, they had like animals in the store and it smelled real bad in there. Because they had like a cat room. And I think what they have always done is they have tried to raise money for Ricky's Refuge, which is a nonprofit shelter in our area that like specifically helps cats, I think. Ricky's Refuge has a donation box in some of the local grocery stores, and also Retail helps to fund Ricky's Refuge, okay? So I looked at this store because this store is hit or miss with whether they're gonna have craft supplies. It's very much based on what gets donated and what time of day and when you go and what, all kinds of stuff. I've gotten yarn from there a couple of times. Their prices are kind of all over the place. And actually, trying to remember. What store I bought what yarn from. That's a Goodwill price tag. That's not. I'm trying to think of what other thrift stores we went to. We went to the Goodwill, which is in the bags. Scrappy Elephant. Retail. Okay. This one's not from Retail. I think this one's from Retail. I think this bag is from St. Vincent de Paul, which is down the street from Retail. All right, so I think this one's from Retail, if I remember correctly, because they had a brand new skein of Bernat Velvet on the shelf. This stuff retails for like $11.99, okay? They had this, and then they had a giant ball that had got caked up of the same colorway, and this was $3. And it's funny because Mr. Cinnamon kind of is in the, like, he's in the know with some yarn. He's all, $3, that's expensive for the thrift store. He's all, that's almost retail. It's like, no, it's not. This is like $11.99. I've gotten it on sale for like $8, but like, this stuff is expensive. And I really like the Bernat Velvet. And I think I have purple. Yeah, I have 2 shades of Bernat Velvet in purple up there that I made my niece's giant turtle out of. So this would be beautiful for a turtle mixed with the purple, right? So Bernat Velvet, brand new skein, $3, and there's no smell. None at all. And Retail kind of smells in, the store stinks. So just keep that in mind. If there's a little bit of stink, you can air it out. You can spray Febreze on the outside of the ball and put it out in the sun. And then Lion Brand Jiffy, which I'm a fan of. When Joann's brought out the big balls of the new Jiffy, I bought a couple. I really like Jiffy. I was gifted Jiffy in vintage colors. This is an old vintage Jiffy ball. I'm trying to see if there's sometimes these have a date on them. This is the color El Paso, and the lot number has 88 in it, so I'm thinking this might be from 1988. This was $2 a ball, which is not a fantastic price for thrift store prices, but I like Jiffy and I like this color. Jiffy has like a halo. It's almost a brushed acrylic, which I like brushed acrylic. It's the color El Paso. It's got this fantastic old label on it. And it's 100% acrylic. And if it's been around since 1988, which I suspect it has, it smells mildly dusty, but not anything that I can't handle. Like mildly. And then they had, this one is the Sensations yarn, which if I recall was made for Joann's. Yes, Joann Stores, Hudson, Ohio. So this is a vintage Joann's yarn. So Sensations Caribbean or Caribbean, however you pronounce it. This is $3, but it's a big ball. This is a purple variegated sparkle yarn. And does not smell. It kind of smells like my godmother's house. Which was not, I mean, her house was old, so it smelled like an old house, but it's not necessarily stinky. This is 56% cotton, 38% acrylic, 6% polyester. It's really pretty. It was a medium 4-weight. It looks closer to a 3-weight. It feels like a cotton yarn. Like you could tell there's cotton in it. Washed with similar colors. So I just thought that was really pretty. And it's actually more pinky purple than my camera is showing. There's a good amount of sparkle. And then we got some more vintage Lion brand. This is Modern Baby. And this was $2 a ball. And this is chainette style yarn, but it's like a slime green, which I'm here for. And this is the color Chartreuse. It's a 3-weight. It's 50% acrylic, 50% nylon. It's ridiculously soft. And no smell. No smell at all. And then this is a gamble for me because it's always a gamble for me. It could be Red Heart Super Saver. Now, why does that matter? There are some yarns on the market I can't use. Red Heart Super Saver is one of them. I have an allergic reaction to whatever chemicals they put on the yarn to treat it. And it's been like this since forever ago. I really started having real bad eczema and allergic reaction on my hands about 5 years ago. And it's gotten worse. And so it's a gamble because this could be Red Heart Super Saver. And in that instance, I won't be able to use it. But it was $2 a ball and the colors were really pretty. So I took the chance to try and use it. But again, there's a lot of companies that made yarn in the 80s and 90s that were not Red Heart Super Saver. There was Sayel and Orlon, and Kmart had their own brand of Orlon yarn, I think. And there's a lot of stores that had their own yarn that was not necessarily Red Heart Super Saver. But I thought this color was just so pretty, I was not going to leave it. And this one does not stink. So, there's that. That was retail. This one was St. Vincent de Paul. And there was not a lot. There was not a lot. But I bought what I could. So this is Pearl Crepe. And this was $1. I like St. Vincent de Paul's prices better. It is made in Norway and is 100% wool. I didn't do the strength test on this. It is not dry rot. It's very strong feeling. So I have Norwegian wool for $1 in this beautiful aqua, turquoise, whatever color you want to call that. And then I would read to you what else is on here, but it is in, I'm assuming, Norwegian. And I can't read Norwegian, but it does say 50 grams, made in Norway, 100% wool. And then it says Strika Fastet Goss something or another, I don't know. Here, if you can read Norwegian or whatever language that is, here's that. And then there's this, which I can barely see because I don't have my glasses on. Was that upside down? That was upside down, I apologize. Told you I can't see. It says Pearl Crepe for $1. I'm just going to combine these because once I show you it doesn't matter anymore. Because I'm going to put them into projects. Tomorrow I'm going to show you what to do with some of these yarns. This is baby yarn from the 80s, I think. This was really popular in the 70s and 80s. It's that real thin yarn that has kind of like a shine to it. The reason I buy this whenever I find it is because it's a baby weight. It's like a 3 weight. It's a thin weight. But when you hold it together with any other yarn, it adds like a shimmer to it or a shine. Because I hate working with this stuff by itself. But if you hold it together with a nicer acrylic, it looks beautiful. And it adds a little something. It gives it like that marled look. But also because it's got that little shiny piece on it, it adds the shininess. And I've made several projects holding baby yarn with another darker color of acrylic. This was $1. It's just a partial wall. And of course I showed you this, which I dropped on the floor, which has all kinds of stuff stuck to it now. This is a brushed acrylic. It is an ombre brushed acrylic. And I thought it was pretty. It's really soft. So I have no idea what this yarn was, but I like working with this to make shawls and stuff. This is not enough to make a shawl. This works up really beautifully to make a nice, soft, fuzzy product. And I like the fun yellow. And then, this is the last yarn I got from the thrift store. This was $1. How much was this? I don't think there's a price tag on that. I think it was $1 too. This is a black tweed. And because Premier so generously gifted me some of their new tweed yarns, I was like, okay, the black tweed would look really cool mixed with some of those. And this was $1 for a partial skein. It's just a basic black tweed acrylic. And none of those yarns stink. And then they had a book. Did I need another crochet book? No. But I like to look at them and then sometimes donate them back. So this is the Prayer Shawl Ministry Volume 2, featuring Lion Brand from Leisure Arts. And I thought this would be cool because I like the idea of prayer shawls and donating prayer shawls. And I've donated shawls to a couple of different places now. And so shawls are fun to make. And if I find something in here we like, we can make it together. And it talks about people doing the prayer shawl ministry and the benefit of it. There's lots of pages of that. And then there's prayers in here to pray while making the shawl. If you don't believe any of this stuff and that's not your belief system, that's cool. I'm not trying to push my belief on nobody, okay? So there's the prayer of St. Francis. There's the prayer for those absent, a prayer for those afflicted, a prayer of St. Augustine, prayer for a birthday, prayer make me a servant, prayer for the aged, prayer for celebration, a prayer for the victims of addiction, prayer for the poor and the neglected, prayer for those we love, prayer for those who live alone. And then it talks about the homespun yarn. And I know some of you hate homespun, you call it hellspun. I love homespun. And so I think this is all made with, is this all made with homespun? I mean, it looks like it, but that's okay. You can use any bulky weight yarn in place of anything. This is garter stitch shawl, which is featured on the front, which is just a big long rectangle. It's very pretty. Then we have a cabled shawl, which I don't think I'm ever going to be brave enough to do cables. She looks like Grandma a little bit, except Grandma had red hair. That makes me a little sad. A chevron shawl. This is knit. It's really pretty though. And yeah, it looks like they're using homespun for all these, which I am not mad at. This is called the Lacy Shawl, and this is crochet. Is it crochet? No. This one's knit too. That's really pretty. I could recreate that with crochet though. This one is open mesh shawl, and this one is crochet. And it's a 2-row repeat. So row 1, half double crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook and in each chain across. Row 2, chain 2, turn, half double crochet each, so it's a half double crochet shawl. Which again is just a long rectangle. And then we have the wave shawl, which is crochet, and it's a 2-row repeat. Just chevrons. lacework shawl. By the way, this book was $1. And actually, that's not true because all the craft supplies were 50% off. So the book was 50 cents and all the yarn was 50 cents that day. And then I got a cute little teddy bear that's a scarecrow that's back there. Elegant shawl. That's crocheted. These all seem to be like rectangles. Well, the diamond shawl is not. That's really pretty. That's really pretty. This one is knit. And then basic instructions in the back. But I thought that was a fun book to look at. Alright. And it was only 50 cents. Alright, now these came from the Goodwill, which I almost walked past it. We went thrift shopping because my son loves to thrift shopping because he, you know, he hurt himself and I just wanted him to be happy. So we took him to a couple thrift stores. And I'm walking around looking and my husband's like, Jen? I was like, yeah. He's all, did you see the yarn right here? And I'd walked past it like 4 times. I was like, no. And I turned around, I was like, oh, yarn! There was a bunch of Red Heart Super Saver. But then there was these bags. They had a couple bags with Red Heart Super Saver in it as well, but like, can't use it. So I left it. These bags were $6.99 each. Okay, and then this bag is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 balls of yarn for $6.99. This one was $6.99. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 balls of yarn for $6.99 in here. At least that email's from Premier Yarns, so I'll take that one. So there's Bernat Softy Chunky. Doesn't smell. Like there's a mild dusty smell, but not bad at all. So this is Bernat Softy Chunky, which is 100% acrylic. I think this is a bulky 5, yeah. In this gorgeous pink color, which is called color 39416. Oh, hot pink. It's hot pink. Bernat. Kind of want to keep these all together. Cotton Ease, which I have never used. And this one looks like it was next to feathers because there's feathers on it. This is Lion Brand Cotton Ease. I have never heard of this. 50% cotton, 50% acrylic. It feels really nice. It's a 4-weight. The color is terracotta. Feels really nice. And that's mostly what was in here. They also had a bag entirely of Hirschner's Afghan yarn, which I hate. So that's going to be redonated because some of it's in one of these bags. So we had the Cotton Ease in terracotta and red. And then Karen Simply Soft in the color white. And that's a whole skein. And again, none of these stink. None of them stink. And then we have another Jiffy, which is Lion Brand Jiffy in the color green. What color did we get in the Jiffy over here? I'm trying to see if they would go on a project together, but I don't think those would go on a project together. But these make really cool hats. And this one actually looks like it's more yardage than that one. And it's definitely a different label. So one might be from the 80s, one might be from the 90s. Let's see. This is the color Country Green, which was really popular in the 90s. And that is the conclusion of bag 1. Now bag 2, I picked this one, not because I needed cotton, but like you can never have enough cotton. I'm going to be honest with you. I have a whole bucket of cotton up there. But when the urge strikes me, or I've realized that my washcloths need to be replaced, or my hand towels, I make a lot of hand towels. I like hand towels. I like homemade hand towels. And I like changing the hand towels for every season. And surprisingly enough, I didn't make a Halloween hand towel this year. And I have yarn to do that, but I have, you guys already know. Life has not given me the opportunity to make extra things. So, this is mostly cotton, with the exception of the Afghan yarn from Hirschner's, which I am not a fan of. This yarn is thin, and this actually doesn't feel as bad as some of the other ones I had. I think it's a 2-weight. Yeah, it's a 2-weight, and I'm not a fan of the Hirschner's Afghan yarn. It feels kind of rough to me when I work it up. This one doesn't feel terrible. I've had some that were really bad. So what I plan to do with these is treat them like the other baby yarn and hold these double with other colors so that there'll be a blue strand throughout. And what I'm going to show you guys tomorrow, if I can remember, I hope, is that what to do with some of these yarns, how to create your own yarn cakes called magic cakes, or how to incorporate stuff like this with multiple different colors of yarn to create a yarn that is completely unique to you and no one else will have another yarn like it. So we call that a carry-along yarn. And then there's some really, really old vintage sugar and cream. Not at all dry rotted, which I thought was going to happen. This is soft. What the heck happened to sugar and cream that it feels so bad now? There's two of this is soft. And it doesn't stink at all. Does anybody recognize how old this label is? Does anybody know? It's color 3, 2.3 ounces. Belding Lily Company, Shelby, North Carolina. 125 yards, 114 meters. There's not a date on it, but this is an old label. Sugar and cream does not feel the soft anymore. What happened? And then we have a peaches and cream, which is not nearly as old. And there's a huge difference between these two. This is soft. So we have, this is like a cream color. It's almost yellow. This one is more, it's cream, but it's more white. This is peaches and cream. The other one is sugar and cream. Color number 4. 100% cotton. This one's a little dirty. Nope, no dry rot. And then we have this beautiful color of Cotton Ease to go with the red and the terracotta. And this color of Cotton Ease. And then we have one lonely skein of I Love This Cotton. Now, there is like paper shreds all over this stuff. Smells brand new. That would be so pretty together. The vintage sugar and cream almost feels like the I Love This Cotton, which is blowing my mind. Absolutely blowing my mind. It's slightly more squeaky feeling. Trip out on that, because that's tripping me out like real bad. So that was mostly cotton with what I'm going to call carry-along yarn. Alright, now that was from the Goodwill. Now, this bag is a paper bag. It's from Scrappy Elephant in Charlottesville. Alright, you're going to have to go on the floor if you're going to fall over. This has yarn and it has fabric in it because I love sewing. I like making scrappy fabric things. I do not have the patience to sit and cut squares or designs or pieces to quilt. I don't have the patience for that. As much as I love the idea of it, I don't have the patience to cut all 100,000 squares, okay? I don't. So when I went to Scrappy Elephant, and I really wish I had recorded, but I was out with my boys and I just really needed to be out with my boys. And so we had a really nice day that day. We went to Scrappy Elephant, and then Mr. Cinnamon took me to a chocolate shop that had gluten-free chocolates, and he bought me a box of very expensive chocolate, but it was so good. And we drove on the way home, and like I would bite half the chocolate and I would feed him the other half, and we would like talk about like the flavor profiles, and it was a lot of fun. Like, it was a really nice day, and little man got his own box of chocolates. Like, it was a really beautiful day, and it was just nice to be out. So I didn't record in the store, and I thought about it, but whatever. Little man got treasures. We had a really good time. All right, so one of the things that they had at, now the craft reuse stores very often will have scrap balls. And a lot of times the scrap balls will be in a big giant bin, and it will just be just a disaster. And they will sometimes sell skeins or cakes by the skein or by the cake, but a lot of these places sell by the pound. So you could fill up a bag with stuff, and like, okay, that bag is a $15 bag. No matter what you fit in that bag, how much yarn you fit in that bag is $15. Or they have bag sales where you buy a bag for $20 and you fill it with as much yarn as you can. I love those kind of sales because I try to see how much I can fit in the bag, right? And some of the stores like the Scrappy Elephant, it's like that all the time. You fill the bag, and that bag is one price. This time, all of their scrap balls were in little bags. And the bags were all, I think, $2 a ball, or a bag, I think. And of course, none of these are marked. I think they were $2 a bag, okay? What I wanted to do with these yarns, specifically this one, and I'm going to open these bags and kind of show you some of what's in here, but there's a lot of balls in here, so we're not going to do that. I will show you tomorrow in more detail these balls, because we're going to put them together in a project. This one has the blue, the baby yarn that we talked about, the white one, where it has that little strand of sparkle through it, and these are really good carry-along yarns. So you hold this together with another yarn. I need to remember to take my shot today. That was my alarm. Today's medicine day. So a lot of these are that kind of yarn to where you carry it along to add a little shimmer to the yarn. So we have all these, which are the baby style yarn sparkles. But I recognize this one. This is a Red Heart yarn, and it's vintage, and I got it from a thrift store years ago. And I still have some of it in my scrap bucket down there. I love this yarn, and I always look for this specific yarn. I don't remember what it was. Red Heart something. It's not Super Saver. It's a baby yarn, and it's a plain color with speckles on it. Love this yarn. This is probably going to be a carryover yarn too, because it's also like a thin 3-weight. And then this is wool, and I'm telling you it's wool because I can feel that it's wool. That's superwash. So this is not actually going to be mixed with those. That's going to go in the wool bin. This one is wool. Yeah, I can tell by the feel of it. If you can't tell by the feel of it, there's tests you can look up online, and there's a burn test, and there's different tests you can do to determine what the fiber content is. When you're doing a scrappy project, you want your fibers to all kind of be acrylic, or all kind of be cotton or cotton blends, because if you make something out of a mix of fibers and there's wool in there and you wash it and it shrinks, part of your project's gonna be puckered or like screwed up a little bit. So when you're doing the scrap projects like we're going to talk about tomorrow, just keep that in mind. You want them all to kind of be the same fiber. All right, so that was the blue bag with 2 bonus balls of wool, which we're going to set aside. We got this little purple bag. This says purple DMC floss, but this is not DMC floss at all. At all. There's this beautiful purple. This purple has seen better days. This one feels like it might be dry rot. This one's dry rot. That one's going in the garbage. We have a navy blue ball, another purple, another blue. This is really soft. I don't know what this is. It's like a flat tape yarn almost. And then this one is a scrap piece of bulky yarn. That's gonna go in the garbage. That one was dry rot, so we have that. And then there's this bag, which is, I bought this one just because it's rainbow. Now, when you're making a scrappy project, you all kind of want them to be the same like thickness. You don't want like thick pieces. So this, because it has bulky in it, we're gonna make something separate with the bulky. I recognize this yarn. It looks like somebody was trying to make a pom-pom and never finished because there's cardboard in there. I recognize this yarn. I think this is Michael's Loops and Threads. I think I have this yarn. And then there's, I hate this stuff. I hate that stuff. That's probably gonna get thrown away too. And then this would be so cool mixed in with something. It is Rainbow Fun Fur. And like I said, there's just little tiny rainbow scraps. I also recognize this too. I think this is Super Saver. I think it's Impressionist or Monet or one of those colorways. And then this one is a bulky. This one is a bulky. This looks like this is the same yarn as this. This is different. And then a little tiny rainbow ball. And then we have this one. I'm going to go through and sort all these bulky, etc. This looks like Impeccable to me. That's definitely Red Heart Super Saver. I had that colorway. This looks familiar too, but I can't think of why. This has lots of purples. Purple. Purple. This looks like the other one that we threw away. Nope. This feels like, this is really soft. I don't know what that is. Ooh, Purple Sparkle. Come on. I think that's party yarn. That looks like party yarn. Oh, that looks like a bonbon. And then this looks like Lion Brand Unique a little bit, but that might be something else. Super thick, and then purple again. And then this bag was still the same price as $2, even though it's way bigger. This yarn right here I have had before and I've used it. This looks really cool held together with another yarn for amigurumis. I made a caterpillar with this yarn. And then we got more carryover yarn, carry along yarn, which is the baby yarn. That's going to be a carry along yarn. What is this? That's fun. That one stinks a little bit. This one's beautiful. Look at that. I recognize this yarn and I don't know where I recognize it from. Isn't that pretty? I think that one might be cotton. Red. This looks and feels gross. That's dry rot. You can almost tell that something is dry rot by the touch of it. Ooh, pink sparkles. Another carry along yarn. And then these balls are all kind of tangling together. And then we have one more of this stupid yarn. What is this yarn good for? Not a lot. You literally can make the ruffle scarves and not much else. I'm sure you could do others. That might be a cool, like make a headband or something. I don't know. This yarn always ends up at the thrift stores in bulks. Because for a minute there, everybody was making the ruffle scarves. And I made them. They're real easy. But once you've made a couple ruffle scarves and you realize, I'm never going to wear that. Who the heck is going to wear a ruffle scarf? What am I going to do with that yarn? Then it becomes just like, I'm not touching that yarn. I'm never buying that yarn again. And like I said, there's so much of this on thrift store shelves. So that was my yarn purchases. And then I bought these because if I'm going to make a scrappy project and I want to make project bags out of quilted squares. I want to make pillowcases out of quilted squares. Maybe even for the next house, because I made the curtains that are in here. Quilted curtains, right? You see where I'm going? So when they had all of these perfectly already cut up square bags, which were $2 a bag, I bought a bunch. So I'm not going to show you all the fabrics. Just like I said, I wasn't going to show you all the yarn, and then I did, but they're all like the same size squares. They smell slightly dusty. Somebody already did all the work for me. They already cut all of the fabrics into squares, so all I have to do is sit at my machine. Oh, look at that houndstooth. And piece them together. That one's stained. That one's got a little staining on it. So we have this bag had pinks. This bag has greens. And this one has way more than the other one. Ooh, look at this fabric. That's fun. So now I can make a fun little block project with very little effort on my part. Because I could sit at the sewing machine all day and sew squares together. And I could make an all green project because there's so many green in here. I could make a mixture product. Okay, is that just dull? I feel like it's dull. Yeah, that's just dull. I thought that was the inside of the fabric. This reminds me of a jumpsuit when I was a little kid. And then we have this bag, which is more baby fabrics. $2 a bag. Okay. Oh, my grandpa had a shirt that looked like that. Vintage baby. Vintage baby. This is so cute fabric, clowns. These are not squares, but I could still put them together in a project. These are very, very 80s, 70s. Look at that. And it looks like they just took old stuff. Like, some of these feel like just old clothes and just repurposed the fabric. Frogs, these are so stinking cute. And mushrooms, that. Hearts. Whatever this is. Plaid. Cherries. Some more clowns. This blue fabric. I think I had a dress made out of that too. This is beautiful. And this is all really vintage fabric. How pretty mosaic. This is like Dutch fabric. Isn't that beautiful? When I was when my babies were little babies, I made a lot of clothes for my kids. I made more for Juju than I did for Lucas because I had a harder time making pants than I did dresses. Dresses were easy to me. Look at this bag. I would very often not only make them clothes, but I also really liked thrifting vintage outfits. So I bought a lot of baby clothes from thrift stores that were like 60s and 70s style because I just love that aesthetic. Even though that's all, I was born in 79. It's all before my time. I just loved it, and I love dressing my kids in like cute little clothes that are vintage. And also, for a long time, that's all I could afford was thrift store clothes and hand-me-downs. So that's what my kids wore. This is really cute. A lot of these clothes are reminding me of like my childhood. This is a vintage pillowcase. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's a vintage pillowcase. One little brown square. This is embroidered. And it's on like the fabric that you do embroidery on. This looks hand embroidered. Look at that. Why would you cut up somebody's hand embroidery like that? It's neat, and there's a bunch of them. But they cut them across the flowers, like every one of them, like they didn't think when they were cutting it. Still cool. And some of these have like a seam. One tan, one jean, one blue corduroy. It's corduroy. This is just a bunch of just weird random one-ofs or two-ofs. Some brown jean, but it's like a soft jean. Vintage floral. Vintage floral. The whole stack of this one and a whole stack of this one. Those will be so pretty in a pillowcase together. And then there's so much in this bag. See, I'm a liar because I totally told you I was going to show you all. There's a bunch of this. A bunch. And then a bunch of this one. And then this is more of that one. There's a bunch of that one. Oh, my daughter's gonna love this one. This is strawberries. There's a stack of those. And then these, and she marked them with a blue marker to cut them. So, we're gonna be doing vintage things. I'm just gonna throw everything in there because this all kind of needs to be washed. We're gonna be doing vintage things on the channel. We're gonna be working with vintage yarns. Specifically, we're gonna be scrapping it up with these projects. And I'm gonna show you some fun stuff to do, hopefully tomorrow with these balls of yarn. I'm trying to shove them all back in a bag so they're not all over my desk, because they're all over my desk. And we're gonna sort them, which doesn't make sense because I need to film that video next, but there's absolutely dust coming off of those fibers though. I'm gonna come up with some ideas of fun stuff we could do with this. I want to do magic cakes. I want to do like a rug. Like I want to I have a scrap kitchen rug upstairs in my bathroom. It's in the closet. I want to make another one of those for the kitchen. I like doing stuff like that. I like working with scrappy balls. I like saving these little bits and bobs from the dumpster, from the garbage, because acrylic doesn't break down, and so it goes in the landfill and kind of stays there for thousands of years. And it's sad to me to throw yarn out. Like, we can repurpose it. And even if you don't want to go to the thrift store, I know every single person watching this video has at least a couple of scrap balls. I know that because there's always leftovers from a project, right? So that it not only is it going to be what to do with thrifted yarn, but what to do with your scraps, because let's do something fun with our scraps, right? So hopefully that will be tomorrow's video if I have time to do that today. I feel like this video took way longer than I anticipated, but I want to do that video tomorrow. We're going to make something fun. I think we're going to make a scrap cake, and then we're going to eventually, from that scrap cake, we're going to work and make like a rug. So, and as for the vintage, the fabric pieces, I'm going to wash them up, probably in a laundry bag. And I'm going to sort through them, and I'm going to make projects with them. I want to make, like I said, vintage pillow, not vintage. I want to make pillowcases. Maybe curtains for the next place. I want to make a scrap bag made out of the quilted squares. And it takes all the work out of it for me because I don't have to cut all those little tiny squares because that's so tedious to do. So with that, thank you so much. And I think my grand total, I can't even tell you my grand total scrap RV or scrappy elephant, because I bought my son some, they had some kits like from, I KiwiCo, which is a company that sends you boxes every month. It's like kind of like the boxes he already gets, but they were like, somebody donated brand new KiwiCo boxes that probably their grandma bought them, and they're like, I'm not ever making that, you know. So grandma had a good intention, and the kid's like, yeah, that's not my thing. So we bought them. He was putting those together with his dad. And then, yeah, so I bought like what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. I spent under $20 and got enough yarn and fabric to keep me busy for weeks. So definitely go to Google and search craft reuse store near me. And if you are able to drive, it is worth the hour or 2 hour drive to get to some of these stores. Not all of them are worth the drive. Look up reviews. But they're really a fun adventure. And I was talking to my husband. I was like, I kind of got an idea. Because do you guys remember back in the day, we did the AC Moore tour. We went to 6 AC Moores in a day. I was like, how fun would it be to go to all of the creative reuse stores in the area? And so he got excited about that idea. He's like, we could stay the night in a hotel somewhere. We'll treat it like we did the yarn crawl last year. And we can just go. And then I was like, then I started getting excited. Like, that'd be so much fun to make that video and be fun to, you know, and we started planning it. And then he told little man, he's like, what do you think about doing that? And little man got excited. And we didn't even tell him the hotel part. And he's like, and we could stay at a hotel and we could do like we did with the yarn crawl, because he was part of the yarn crawl. And like, he joined us for the yarn crawl. It was just, it's something I want to do on the channel. And because there's so many scrap reuse stores near me, I want to go to the ones I haven't been to. I'm going to go to my favorites. So that'd be a whole thing to plan out for him and I to do, for the 3 of us to do. I know my daughter would also enjoy it, but she's so busy with life right now. I just don't think she's going to be able to join us for that. But so that is an idea for the future on this channel. And with that, I'm going to let you guys go. Tell me in the comments, what is your favorite thing to make out of scrap fabric or scrap yarns? What is your favorite thing to do with those projects? I know some of you like to cut up the scraps and use it for stuffing for amigurumis or pillows and stuff like that. Excellent idea. If you have a lot of scrap like cottons, you can make washcloths out of acrylic, okay? You could do scrappy washcloths, scrappy hand towels. I love scrap rugs. You can use scraps to weave with. You can use scrap, I mean, there's so many things you can do with scraps. We're going to focus tomorrow on some of those ideas, but like, put them in the comments below so we can have more ideas. And then I will ask you again probably tomorrow if you have any more ideas for that. And with that, I will let you go, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.